Welcome to my channel. Today, I will tell you about a very practical method about how to save orchids whose leaves are alive, but whose roots have completely rotted and have no roots. The orchid you see is making lots of new roots if your orchids don't have roots. Be sure to try the method I'm going to tell you right now, and in this way, it will take root abundantly. I have an orchid whose leaves are alive, but whose roots are rotting. Look, as you can see after separating it from the soil, all of the roots are rotten. And the roots are hollowed out, like paper. We cut off all these roots because we will revive this orchid. It has 2 branches. And I will cut the branches because the branch will delay the rooting of the orchid. We want it to give its strength only to the roots. And look, I'm cutting the woody part of the orchid. The reason why I cut the woody part is that this region can get moldy over time. In order not to encounter such a problem, I cut the root part in this way while rooting the rootless orchids. You can pour cinnamon powder or turmeric powder on the cut. It will disinfect the area and prevent it from becoming moldy. This is how I use a plastic clear cup to root the orchid. You can also use a glass if you want, but it needs to be transparent so that the light can pass through. We do the opposite of what we always do to rootless orchids, that is, the stem part should be above the leaves and in the water. And we put water in such a way that only some of the leaves remain in the water. I used purification water, do not use tap water. Because there is too much chlorine in tap water, I advise you to use purification water. Look, in this way, the stem part is up and only the tip of the leaves remains in the water. I specifically use a stick to fix the orchid, because in time, the orchid can get into the water and the stem should not get wet. Look, only in this way, some of the leaves remain in the water and the leaves take the water and help the orchid to root. I want to show you the results of my methods. My orchid that I just showed you has grown to new roots in just 13 to 14 days. As you can see, they are much smaller. The name of this method is reverse water culture. In reverse water culture method, orchids start to grow clear roots within 2 weeks. And you will definitely get results within weeks. Look, I am showing a close-up of an orchid that also grows roots, because the roots need to be elongated and need to grow. Orchid roots can grow in this way in at least 3 to 5 months. You need to know this and be patient in this way. The roots are active and continue to grow new roots. In this method, orchids take water from the leaves and orchids stay in plenty of moisture, which helps root development quickly. The moisture of the leaves always accelerates the development of the orchid. As the water in the glass runs out, we need to add it. Look closely, I want to show you the leaves. As you can see, there is no deterioration in the leaves. The leaves are very healthy. Let me take out a new leaf. In this method, the orchids start to grow new leaves and start growing new roots. Now it's time to plant the orchid that we rooted with reverse water culture. If you watched and liked the video, you can subscribe it to support me. You can also support me by pressing the like button. When can we plant the orchid you rooted in reverse water culture? Look, I'm showing you up close. The root length is 6.5 to 7 centimeters. If your orchid's roots have grown this long, you can now plant this orchid in the ground. But if the number of roots is less and the length is less than 5 centimeters, I recommend you not to hurry, because it would be difficult for such an orchid to hold onto the soil. I want to show you how to plant right away. Now I will use 3 types of soil mix. This is a mixture of pine bark and also peat. Again, moss is a substance that I always use and that accelerates rooting. We will prepare an ideal soil from these 3 mixtures of clay balls. There is such a transparent glass for this. Since my orchid is much smaller, I prefer a small glass. I cut the edges like this and create holes for this. Because the orchid part must have bottom holes that are transparent and can filter the water, I drill small holes just below it. I make small holes on the sides of the part to accelerate the development of my orchid. It should definitely not be large so that it does not lose much moisture. First, I put the clay balls that I wash the bottom of. The clay ball will create drainage. And when you do more irrigation, it retains this water. It has a high moisture retention feature. I put pine bark on it, and I will put moss on the pine bark. Moss always accelerates rooting. I recommend you use this because it has a high moisture holding capacity. It helps the rapid development of orchid roots. Since this is a bit dry, I spray water on it like this. The roots are not very long anyway, that's why I place it towards the top. Be careful not to break the roots when placing it. Now I'm going to put soil and moss on it again. Yes, I have now planted my orchid in a pot, and my orchid is now ready, especially if it has long roots. Make sure it looks like this from the outside, because we do the watering time by looking at the roots. This is important for us. Now I will give my orchid its first water. Some of the soil was wet and some of it was dry. I will keep it in this water for 10 minutes. Do not wait more than 10 minutes. After waiting for 10 minutes, we drain our orchid and put it on a windowsill with plenty of light. It is important that you put them on the windowsill. Orchids should always receive plenty of light. You can also give liquid plant nutrients to such orchids if you wish. I hope this video was useful for you. If you have watched my video so far and liked it, please subscribe to my channel and press the like button immediately. Goodbye and stay healthy.